the person who will be joining us now works for a company I don't need to introduce. One fact I didn't actually realize, that Oracle is so big, they have 435,000 customers. Yeah, so if we think 435,000 employees is massive, they work with that number of customers. Massimo is digital director for EMEA, focusing on getting the giants, getting the automotive customers through the journey of digital transformation, getting that mindset that the panel, the roundtable were talking about, getting that mindset of make it simple, make it mobile, take it to the customer and make it consumer-centric, making that a reality. Massimo joined Oracle from FCA, where he was leading the connected car services. And interestingly enough, he started his career as a startup. But I won't say any more. Please welcome Massimo Cavazzini.
Buen dia. Buenos dias. Good morning. We are in Barcelona still. It's morning, right? So thanks for joining. I guess what we heard during the panel was we need to change our mind. And I completely agree. I mean, we have some few trends which are disrupting the industry. People, it's gonna live in these mega cities. Majority of people will live in a city, more traffic, more pollution. I think digital, it's here. 1/4 of the economy will be digital in the next couple of years. So it's something which we cannot avoid. And then we have, of course, we heard car sharing, 26 million people using a shared vehicle in the next years. Autonomous is there, connected devices, and electric. So this is happening. We've been talking a lot about these trends, but now it's real. It's coming, and something we didn't mention during the panels this morning, artificial intelligence, not only for autonomous driving, but also for customer care. We will be talking to chatbots. And so when calling for assistance for a breakdown, 20% of our interactions will be to a chatbot. So how do we need to change to make money? I mean, there is money, 14 billion euros money from connected services. There is a huge opportunity for car makers, startups, and the environment around. We need to adapt. As an industry, we need to adapt. There is one guy who understood, was running a manufacturing company, advanced manufacturing, and he said, okay, now we need to move to software and analytics. So this is the way to survive in this world, because, I mean, information is replacing technology. In the entire morning, you didn't hear the word engine, horsepower, wheels, and we are in a car environment. We talk about car sharing, data, platforms. We didn't talk about cars. So it's no more about the physical asset. It's more about the information. Now, data. Data, it's the key. There is one quite nice guy, former CEO of Netscape, who said, if you have data, bring data. Your business should be data-driven. Otherwise, it's just about opinions. Data, it's the key. And, I mean, sometimes you hear, oh, data, it's the new oil. I'm sorry, I disagree. Because, I mean, data makes more data. Once you have data, you can create from a data set much more data. Data can be consumed by several peoples in several places in the same moment. Oil cannot. And lastly, the value of data increases when combined. Still, I see many car makers creating silos. Oh, I do this business with CRM, and then CRM doesn't know what the dealer is doing, doesn't know what the plant is doing, so creating these silos. If you are able to put together the data, you can create much more value. Some companies, I think we mentioned some of them, are data-driven from the beginning. We have just one car maker, which is Tesla, here. I guess you know that for every physical Tesla that is on the road, Tesla is creating a digital twin inside a farm, inside a server house, to run digitally the same model which is running on the street. So they have no legacy, and they can create digital twins. Netflix, how many of you use Netflix? Okay, some of you. So Netflix, it's not creating TV series by chance. They are analyzing what their customers are doing, what their customers are willing to do, and then they produce the TV series. That's why we all like Netflix, and we spend hours in watching it. Now, automotive, it's kind of old style, but don't worry. I mean, there are companies using data to make it better for their customers. Premium audio, Denon Marantz, some of you might have some products. So launching a connected speaker, they discovered, analyzing data, that people were putting that speaker in the bathroom to listen to music while having a shower, and that speaker was not designed to be in a bathroom for humidity. So what they did, okay, fair enough. They designed and created a new line, thanks to the data, for speakers in the bathroom. And they discovered that they can upsell a second product in 2 weeks window when their customer are buying a product. So when a customer is buying a product, they analyze the data for 2 weeks and then propose an upsell of a second product, and it's working. As we are in an automotive space, this is a Japanese electric scooter sharing creating in 3 weeks. So thanks to the cloud, thanks to the platform, I mean, mobile app, you take the scooter, you ride, you leave it in 3 weeks. Without digital, I mean, probably car sharing wouldn't have happened in the last few years. So automotive, that's interesting. I mean, connected car will transmit data. Probably 350, it's a little bit too much. It's happening now in some car makers. But I mean, you will have flow of data coming in through connected cars. So the problem is that the majority of industries are still in this phase. They are creating those data lakes, collecting data, just keep the data inside. But we need to change. I mean, there is a huge opportunity. Acquiring data from third party, matching data, creating second party to make more business. I mean, the majority of business today just use single silos of data and are not merging the data and creating a new. We have, as you know, the biggest data cloud in the world in terms of market trading. You can create value in sharing the data. You can acquire anonymous data and collect and use it with your own data. You can share your own data with other companies to create more value. And thanks to that, you can then apply data science, artificial intelligence, and all algorithms to take out the value of those data. Unfortunately, majority of automotive is still here, just collecting data, silos, CRM, dealers, plants. They're not even talking to each other. So Marco mentioned that I tried to have a test drive on an SUV, 60,000 euros, and the customer and the dealer that was calling me on my mobile requested again my mobile number. Why? Because I put it on the website of the car maker, and the car maker is not passing the data to the dealer because they are fighting. Who is the ownership of the data? As a customer, of course, I didn't do the test drive, and I decided for another brand. Now, I'm going to finish with an entire platform. I think it's basically going from device, so hardware. We don't do hardware. It's basically applying our SDKs to hardware. We have the entire connectivity and data acquisition part. So all the data coming out from vehicles, from the plant, from CRM, multi-channel. Today, yesterday I was in Berlin at the airport. There were few teenagers with the phone. What are you doing with the phone today? You don't know. If you check how many phone messaging apps you have on the phone today, maybe one, two. So having a smartphone, it's no more about calling, it's rather messaging. We need to basically collect all the data in one place and make it happen. Of course, you have to apply then business intelligence to those data to discover patterns, insights. So if a customer who is looking for a new car, then it's buying this car, you can take this pattern and apply back to do advertising. Marco before was mentioning that target advertising is not used at Automotive. I can tell you there is one car maker that last year did plus 22% in sales, thanks to retargeting in Automotive. So basically applying patterns that works back to other potential customers in this data marketplace, and it works. Of course, you need to have smart dealers. Majority of dealers, they have their own system. They are fighting against the car maker. This cannot happen anymore. Now, integration. Integration is key. Again, you need to integrate all the data in one single view, one single point, and provide different metrics. Engineering, quality, marketing, sales, different views, different people working. Data set it's one, but you need to provide different metrics to them. So even if you are collecting data, you then need to show the data in the right way to different stakeholders. And in the end, configurator. I don't know how many of you are using a car configurator today. Still, we are not there. It's so complex. Leonardo mentioned by Luca De Meo this morning. Car configurator should be simple. The sales management, the entire marketing automation. Still, I'm getting from my leasing company of the car an SMS saying, can you tell me how many kilometers do you have? And the car is connected from a German brand. So they know. The car is connected, and they are asking through SMS, how many kilometers do you drive? Okay, security. I guess you all know security is key. Thanks to the cloud, basically, you have no need to take about security. Someone else is taking, but security is key, especially when semi-autonomous and autonomous will be there. I was working on the Cherokee Jeep last 2 years ago, actually. Was a huge problem. I guess that with cloud vendors, you can forget security and spend money somewhere else because someone else is taking about you. Okay, so last message, it's that the data drive you and your business. I'm happy to take questions. If any, I'll be around for the next 2 days. Thank you. Any questions? No question. Okay, so we'll wait for maybe Ilona. It's here.
Massimo, thank you very much. We have a few minutes until the next session starts. Any questions from the audience? So, Massimo, question from me. We were having a brief conversation backstage, and Massimo said, I've been to Geneva, I've been to Frankfurt, I've been to Shanghai. no motor show. And I've always seen engines and car innovation, etc. I've never seen anything that is really focused on technology in cars. So where do you see this evolving? Where do you see the merging ecosystems of technology and automotive going in the next 2 years to 5 years?
So I guess the good news is that many of the car makers are understanding, at least maybe not acting, but understanding where the world is going. I see 3-4 car makers also having venture capital funds for startups. There is an example here, but there are other vendors doing it. So we are basically forgetting the old style when there is the car maker tier 1 running a bid. I mean, it's much more complex. There are at least 200-300 startups just in Europe working on mobility. Some of them will die, some of them will be acquired. But I guess in the next 2-3 years, really there will be, on one side, consolidation, on the other side, the rise of new players in digital. I agree that, I mean, we buy a car and then we leave 95% parked down there. We have also to consider that this is happening mainly in the big cities, so it's not happening in, I don't know, India or China, so there will be still a huge advantage. The other thing is that also autonomous will take out of the car more or less every autonomous vehicle. It's 6-7 vehicles out of the street, but those autonomous vehicles, well, will cost more, will run more, so they won't last 7-8 years. So for the car makers, it's not really an issue of will I survive, but it's an issue of how do I change my business model, the way I sell the car, so transportation as a service and mobility player rather than, I mean, pure hardware, if they don't want to be the Foxconn of phones.
Yes, and that tension has actually... Oh, is the mic working?
Maybe.
Okay.
Can you hear it? Raise your hand.
Can you hear me okay? Okay.
Yeah.
That tension actually between the consumer side, where we don't buy cars, we don't own them, we get them at a fraction of cost for a fraction of time, where there's a massive tension to 5, 7, 9 years old R&D cycles, commitments to the suppliers, and that very, very linear chain of is design, is R&D, is manufacturing. There's organizational tiers, or from global headquarters to regions to dealers, etc. So that needs to be solved definitely.
Yeah, there is still a big fight, I would say, between the sales network and the car manufacturer. I mean, digital for sure, it's a little bit cleaning out some of the processes, but still we are not there. What I would suggest to a car maker is start small, maybe a pilot, and then scale, because I mean, technology now, it's enabling you to scale in weeks. It's not years, it's not so. Before you commit maybe to a 20, 30, 100 million euros project, do a pilot, one city, maybe one model, you pilot it, you like it, you get data, you understand the metrics, and then you launch. I think that's, to be honest, the good from having startups and having the digital in the car industry. It's basically about speed. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.